Okay, so some more recommendations for you. This time the recommendations are quite specific in that most of the people I'm going to talk about here have got some sort of expertise in economics and or global politics. Now, I used to teach economics for 35 years, and what I know about this is that a lot of people find economics quite hard, but I think you can't really understand what's happening, with regard to what the World Economic Forum wants to do, unless you understand a bit of economics. So what I'm going to do is just give you some heads up about YouTubers that I think are fairly accessible, that might teach you a little bit about economics, from a perspective of you not being an economics expert in the first place. So the first one, the one that really springs to mind that I should have mentioned before, is this guy called George Gammon, and he's got a second. If you searched for his name, you know how to spell George Gammon, Gammon. He's also got a second channel called the Rebel Capitalist, and he's absolutely brilliant in terms of explaining basic economic concepts and the World Economic Forum's plans. He's also, I believe, a 100% decent guy. He's really is a decent human being. Somebody else who's sort of similar, he's done interviews with him, is a Japanese American called Robert Kiyosaki. And he's got a channel. You don't have to think about spelling his surname because it's a bit tricky. But he's got a channel called the Rich Dad channel. Again, very, very good in terms of explaining some basics. In fact, he's actually got a video that opens up his channel, and that basically tells you about how to become financially independent. In a nutshell, and these things are just not taught to kids at all, even the ones that do get to choose to study economics in England in the sixth form at A level. Another one that I really like, I might have mentioned him before, I'm not sure, is a Brazilian bloke. He's a bit elderly, he's probably about the same age as me. He's called Monaco 64, so I'll spell it MANECO and then the number 64. Again, he does videos more or less every single day, and he's pretty accessible for non-economists. Other channels that I like are obviously, well, I'm not sure I've mentioned him before, Neil McCoy Ward. I think he's really good. Another channel that I like is Stansbury Research, and it's hosted by this lady called Daniela Camboni. So Stansbury, that's STANSBERRY, and then the word research. That's the name of the channel. So that's Stansbury Research. She does all sorts of interesting interviews with people. And she's a really good interviewer, and she makes people explain things properly, step by step, which is really cool. A couple of other people who were a little bit, if you really wanted to understand money and what the World Economic Forum's up to, do a YouTube search for Mike Maloney, M-I-K-E, Mike Maloney, M-A-L-O-N-E-Y. He'll explain to you all about the history of money, and again, he links it all up to how banks have used debt to enslave people, especially since this thing called fiat money came into play. Another guy that I like, who's also really, really good, is a bloke called Alistair MacLeod. So MacLeod, M-A-C-L-E-O-D, and again, very, very good on monetary history, banking history, how the establishment has been screwing people over. He recently did a lecture at Oxford University that's online, so if you Google him, you'll find it. He doesn't tend to have his own channel. He just if you type his name in, he's often a guest on other people's channels. Yeah, so those are the people that I would recommend highly to you on the economics front. I think what I'm going to do is have a crack at trying to explain a few things that I've learnt about economics that maybe just aren't direly cliche things that are on the A-level economics course, and try to make it. My two goals are going to be accessibility first and foremost. So I'm going to pitch it at a level so that even if you've not studied any economics before, you'll be able to understand it. And then the second one is maximum detail. And I think I've already done one of these videos before. It was about last summertime, about what causes inflation, I think it's called. So if you watch that, you know, and you think that that's quite good, and you really understand what inflation is after watching it, then you might be interested in watching some more of these videos that, about economics that I'm planning to do. You know, particularly in the area of money and banking, because that's what the WEF's got planned, and why the current financial system is toast. I think that would be useful for people to understand, and then explain to other people and spread the message that way. Another couple of recommendations. I don't know if you've come across this guy, but I love him. Sanity for Sweden, he's called, and yeah, he's a typical well, Swede, so you could call him a Scandinavian, but you get plenty of his type of people, plenty of this type of bloke in Finland too, where he's kind of like just tells it as it is, with a ultra bone dry sense of humour. So if you've not subscribed to him, Sanity for Sweden, he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then the other, I don't know, the other recommendation to finish on, I don't know if you've been watching any of the Rebel News coverage of Davos, but Ezra Levant and this guy called Avi Yemeni, they've been interviewing, for example, they interviewed Borla, the head honcho of, well, I'm not going to say the name of the... Set the phasers to stun. It sounds similar to that, the phaser bit on it, but it's not phasers, it's something else. So definitely Google those two guys, Rebel News, and if you just put in Davos, World Economic Forum, they've actually set up a site, and what they're actually in Davos now, and they're just interviewing people, whoever they can find, and interviewing them, and they're on the lookout for the big movers and shakers behind the Klaus's Great Reset. So those are the channels, some more channels for you to go with the Birmingham 3. In fact, it was only the Birmingham 2, wasn't it? A Tim from sorry sorry about that, Tim. Anyway, that's all I want to say. We've got snow again, so yeah, God bless you.